starting a new win streak tonight?
Sun came up the next day and, had a good day off and nice skate this morning, so ready to go.
What's the key for your line on the defensive side? Because we know obviously you guys have the offensive skills.
I think the best defense is playing good offense, so to keep with that and then just clean up a few things, maybe a little bit more communication, come back to our own zone, and I think all three of us can skate, and we put a lot of back pressure on the opponent. Obviously it limits time that they spend in our zone, and closing quickly, that way we're not dragging trips out in our own end and getting gas like that. So there's a few things we can clean up, but I think we're heading the right direction and doing some good shit, I think.
What's the confidence level in your goaltending, no matter who's in net?
It's unreal. Take your pick, right? Any of them can go on any given night, and they've proven all year that we can beat any team with whoever we got back there, and they're all working hard in practice. They're all great teammates, and it's a good problem to have too many really good goalies.
You got a young guy in Joseph and a couple of veterans there, so it's a good mix among the three.
Yeah. I mean, it's great to have Joe back. I think you see what he went through with the rehab and whatnot, and he's ready to go. As far as I know, I talked to him. He said he felt unreal in his game down in the A, and that's great. So when he can learn from some older veteran guys like we have with Jonesy and Sammy, it's a pretty lethal combination. So all three of them are big parts of our squad, and we're very lucky.
In your experience, what does the first game back from injury feel like?
Pretty excited. I think you're in pretty good shape actually. You feel rested, your body feels ready to go. Sometimes it's more just like a timing thing. I don't know what it's like for a goalie, but for a player, just getting your roots down a little bit and getting up to game speed usually takes about a period, but you're back in the mix, so it's not much of a transition.
Is there a final mental hurdle, kind of just knowing that everything's fine, because you're cleared by doctors, but it's just that last little bit?
No. He's good to go. I think we're all probably 2 weeks prior when we get cleared, we're good to go. So mentally, I think he's fine.
It's an emotional sport, but what do you think of Sheldon? What's been your impressions of Sheldon behind the bench and the fire that he's shown this season?
Yeah, he wants to win just as much as any guy in this room does. He's been driving the ship of this group for the last few years. He's done a great job, and he's got our back and we got his back. So I think as a group, we love seeing him get fired up like that. He brings emotion, and obviously the game started out great and then didn't finish the way he liked it too. But I mean, Kiefer, obviously he was upset with what was going on, and he had every right to be. So he had his back just like he does for us, and I loved it.
You've had a few coaches in this league. Like, what makes what makes Sheldon unique, or what stands out about him that a little different maybe from some of the other guys back?
Yeah, no, I've been real lucky, man. I've had some great coaches. I mean, you look at Rick Tocchet, Dave Tippett when I first came in was outstanding. Rod Brittenmore, unbelievable. Luke Richardson might be one of the best human beings in the game of hockey, and then obviously Pete DeBoer as well. So that was great. And now you get Kiefer, who's younger compared to those guys, but he seems like he's been around for a long time, which is great. Played against him in junior, and I think the one thing that stands out with a guy like Sheldon is his attention to detail is probably second to none. He doesn't miss much, and he loves things done a certain way, and until you execute it that way consistently, he's gonna keep showing it and keep kind of trying to guide you to get that way. And I think that's what you want from a coach is he just sets the bar higher and higher every single day. And yeah, everyone in here enjoys playing for him. I've enjoyed playing for him, and he's been great.
Auston's a pretty consistent guy, despite the grind of the 2-game season. Why do you think he's been able to keep on producing? Like, what stands out about his mental game? Auston.
Confidence, man. I've said it over and over again. When you have confidence, you can do anything you want. And he's the most confident guy they ever played with. Anytime he goes on the ice, not just him, but every guy on that bench believes he can score. You see what he does defensively too. He's one of the better guys at stealing pucks. He's a big body that can move, and he's so athletic that he's really never off balance. And he works at his game. And I mean, you look at the best in the last 2 decades of any sport. That's one common denominator is they all want to put in the work, and they have the mental grind and capacity to do that on a daily basis, and Auston does that with flying colors. So we're very lucky to have him, obviously, and you guys are very lucky to watch him every night. But no, he's a huge part of our group, and he's only getting better by day, and we just got to keep supporting him. And everyone else kind of chugging along beside him.
Max, what's it like to get traded? The trade deadline's coming up.
Depends.
You've been through
At
it.
the deadline, when you know it's coming, it's like pretty exciting. I haven't experienced a trade where I was like, oh wow, like that caught me off guard. So I can't attest to that. But when you know it's coming, it's exciting because you're going to a new group. But it's also tough. Like when you leave a team you've been with for the last few months or last year or two, you build special relationships, not just with the players, like the training staff, the coaches, the travel people, everyone that's kind of a part of our team that you guys don't get access to or see. Those are the relationships that last beyond your years of playing, really. And that's the toughest part is trying to adapt to that whole new situation and kind of coming into a whole new city with not much familiarity. That's the toughest part. But the hockey is super easy because you go from one team to the next, and it's almost like it's the same thing. It's that brotherhood mentality, and everyone has each other's backs, and everyone's a good dude in our sport. So it's getting traded is tough, but it's also super exciting. So there's pros and cons to both.
Having said that, are you happy though? You seem fairly safe for the next week.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Arizona, go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Sorry, Arizona has had Toronto's number in this building over the years. What do you recall about what it was like to come in here as a Coyote back in the day?
Doesn't matter. We just played them last week, so we're super familiar with what they can bring. They got a good team, a lot of skill. Obviously, they've been struggling a little bit lately, so there's going to be some hunger there, and we've got to come out of the gates fine, ready to go. It's going to be a good test and bounce back from last game.
You have a beautiful singing voice. What was the reaction to your?
You like that?
I thought it was wonderful.
Thank you.
What was the reaction you got from in here?
I don't know. I mean, I think me and Burr are so close now, so it's one of those things where he hates attention, and I just wanted to spotlight him a little bit there. He had such a big day, and obviously his birthday. Like most guys didn't even know it was his birthday, myself included, until like closer to the game, because he's not that guy. It's always like doesn't want that kind of attention, which I respect so much, and he's super low key, just a normal, humble dude, and I think singing Happy Birthday on the tarmac on the way to the plane was something that he was in it. He couldn't shy away from the camera there, so we had some fun with it. But that's just little things that we do around to enjoy our long season.
What was your takeaway from a couple nights ago and the key tonight to starting a new win streak?
Yeah, just getting back on the right page. And, I think there was a lot of really good things we did throughout the start of the game. I think later in the back half, just little mental mistakes that obviously they capitalize on, and the game just kind of got away from us. So we've been playing good hockey as of late, and lose one, you obviously want to come back and bounce back and have a good effort. So it'll be a good opportunity for us tonight.
You and your line have been really consistent this season. What's the key to that? Like, what's the key to the mental side of it and not letting the grind get to you?
Yeah, just taking it one game at a time, trying to prepare as best as you can, and each night's going to be a battle. It's going to be a good test for us, regardless of who the opposition is. They're going to come in and give us a really good, tough game. So obviously, we just saw these guys recently, and took it to them pretty good. So I'm sure they're going to be ready to go tonight, and so we got to raise that level as well.
Auston, where have you seen the growth in Nyes, given a young guy like he is, but playing with the two of you against tougher competition night in, night out, and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just gaining that experience, and you just got to go through it. There's always ups and downs to a season, and especially your first year, everything's so new. It's a lot getting thrown at you. Obviously, playing here, the schedule, just game after game. So I think he's handled it really great. I mean, he's a really mature kid, has a really good head on his shoulders, and he's really open to learning and getting better, and has all those attributes that obviously. That he has, so just trying to help him in whatever way we can, as teammates, as guys that have been through it before, and just try to encourage him to keep progressing and keep having fun.
Joe Wall's inching closer. What's it like in your experience when you're just about to come back from an injury? What's that sort of last step? Like, is there a mental part of it? What's the excitement like? What's it all like?
Yeah, I think it's just excitement. I think at that point you just want to get back in a game, and the last week or two that he's been around a little bit more and taking reps in practice, and I mean he's looked really good, and obviously getting that conditioning stint the other night down with the Marlies and playing really well, but he's looked really good in practice and these skates, and I'm not in issues obviously, so it's on him to realize when he feels like he's game ready and everything's feeling like it should be, but I'm sure he's excited as he's kind of inching closer, getting back into the game play.
What's it like going up against Kerfoot?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, he's a great guy, and I mean he was a very popular guy on our team for since he got traded. So we all love him a lot, and you know, it sucks to see guys you know, go, but it's just kind of the business part of the game. But you know, he's a great person and somebody that we all look forward to, you know, chatting with after the game, just saying hi. So you know, he's been playing really well this year. We're all very happy for him, and yeah, so it'll be fun to go against him tonight.
Was he underappreciated in this market? He just kind of was a Swiss Army knife. He did almost everything for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, he, like you said, you can play him kind of anywhere in the lineup, and you know, such a smart player, and the speed, and like you said, you can really put him in whatever situation you need him to play in. And I think the great thing about him is he was, you know, very open to doing that. It was never really a bad day for him, whether he was on the fourth line, the first line, or somewhere in between. You know, it didn't really matter to him. He was always going to give his best effort and do what he could to help the team.
What have you seen from that Domi line since they've been put together, the two Nylander, the potential they have to really generate offense?
Yeah, I mean, I think the offensive side has been great, and defensively, I think they've gotten a lot better as well. And I think all three of those guys have different attributes that kind of complement all three of them really well, and they move the puck really well as a line. And obviously, Domi's being a great distributor the way he is, and you know, Willie being able to hang on the puck and Bert's ability down low in front of the net. So I think they all just kind of read off each other really well, and you know, they're playing really well for us and creating a lot of good offensive chances.
Arizona's had a lot of success in this building. Is that something that grabs your attention going into this game, even though they might be on a bit of a low ebb?
Yeah, I mean, I think you just kind of got to watch that and, you know, realize it's one game today and you can't really change the past. You know, just go out there and try to have a good effort tonight. And, one shift at a time, one period at a time, not get too far ahead of ourselves. You know, they're going to be coming out, and you know, remember some guys are going to come out and they're going to work and they're going to compete. So we just got to be ready to match that intensity.
Sheldon gets kicked out last game. When you see a coach with that fire, what does it do to the bench and the group?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously you know, motivates you and whatnot. I mean, at that point in the game, it was you know, it's never really over, but it was, you know, pretty close. So yeah, I don't know if it was really warranted or not. I didn't really hear the full conversation or what was going on, but obviously they felt that was appropriate to send them out of the game. But you know, you appreciate the coach having the guys' backs and whatnot.
Sheldon, who you starting tonight?
Joseph's preparing to play, so he looks good, feels good. You know, we'll give him every minute that we can. You know, get through the day and all that kind of stuff. And you know, the plan is for him to play and be activated tonight before the game. So that is the plan. But like I said, you know, with any player coming off of the IR, you give them, you know, as much time as possible to make sure that they're good. But that is the plan.
Obviously, you've got a great deal of confidence in Joe before he got hurt. How does it feel just to have him back, or at least this close to being back?
Yeah, it feels great. Like, because you said how he played, but also you just know how hard the guys worked to get himself ready, and especially probably the last 3 weeks or so, like you know, where he's right there. There's just one last little hurdle for him to get over. So you want to get him back, and he's an important guy for our team, and you want to get him back in the net.
How big is it that he doesn't have to come in as like the savior? You've had such good goaltending since he got hurt.
Yeah, I do think that's important, especially for a young guy. You know, like Waller, he's just got to focus on himself and his own game, and even not just tonight, but the lead up to tonight. You know, and sort of getting over that last little bit. So the team was going really well. The goaltenders have done a good job for us. So he's really just been able to keep it about him and making sure he's ready, and then, you know, even to the point that he goes down and gets his time in with the Marlies, and that sort of helped check that last box that he could get through the game and get through the positions that he needs to, and then, you know, we got him a couple extra skates back up here to make sure that everything checks out, and here we are.
Sheldon, he's been ramped up for 3 weeks, but the mental side of it, in your experience with players in general, how is that the last step of just trusting that everything's going to be fine? You don't know until you're in the fire.
Yeah, I do think that is important, especially for the nature of every injury is different, but there's some that you know, that are a thing. You know, like it sits there in your mind, especially for his position, and he got injured, you know, with a certain movement that he has to repeat countless times in a game, and I think that was probably the biggest hurdle for him to get over, just because that in itself is what puts the most stress on the injury, and then the mental side of making sure that you're good enough to get through that at game speed. So that's been it for him, but I think he's excited to go. We're excited to have him back.
You know yet if with Wall being activated, if you're going to carry 3 goalies on your roster?
Yeah, that's the plan for us. Yeah.
What kind of luxury does that kind of give in the sense that you can rest a goalie and not have him dress?
Yeah, that's part of it for sure. But at the same time, I think what's really important when you have 3 guys is you don't really have 3 guys. You know what I mean? Like you got to focus on 2. Otherwise, you're halfway with 3 guys, and then you're affecting 3 guys. So Jonesy's job here is to stay ready, and we'll continue to work him in when we can. But we don't want to be too disruptive to Samsonov or Wall. But we will manage rest and things accordingly. Like tonight as an example, Samsonov will back up and all of that. So we just want to kind of keep them in the regular routine that they would normally be in. But, you look ahead, there's sometimes the schedule is going to heat up and back-to-backs and things. Sure, that'll be good for us. But the most important thing is to have 3 quality goaltenders that have all won games and carried our team through tough spots different times through the season, and to have all 3 here and available is important. We got to continue to manage them and keep them ready. But I do think it's important for us to really clearly identify 2, which we have in Samsonov and Wall. But Jones is a good pro, as he's been all season long. He's going to do all he can to keep the right frame of mind, stay sharp, stay ready, and get his work in. And Curtis Sanford will help manage all that.
So where are you with how Nyes has handled the tougher assignments on the top line through the season and getting going as a youngster and all that with those types of matchups?
Yeah, I think he's done a good job of it. I think he's gotten better and better. I think as the season goes along, you sort of get faced with different challenges and different learning opportunities for a young player. So, yeah, I think he's gotten better. I think the more games and more challenges he faces, he'll be able to work his way through. As I've said, with young players, especially those that sort of bypass the American Hockey League, you're learning on the fly and you're learning in the league, and that's a hard thing to do, especially when you look at the workload and the assignments that he has, the matchups, and whether it's the forwards or defensemen that he faces as a result of playing on that line. Yeah, it's tough. Some added layers there for sure, but it's important for us to keep coaching them along the way as the situations arise, and then also have to be realistic and manage his workload accordingly. Despite playing a lot of times on there's a big discrepancy usually between his minutes and the others. But I think that's all part of just really helping him to not get overwhelmed by any of those situations that come up with the matchups and the demands of the league.
Not speaking about Tuesday in particular, but how do you sort of manage, or what's your philosophy when it comes to speaking to the officials in game, and also like letting your team know that you're in the fight with them, but also trying to lobby for the next? Like, where do you sort of fall in that sort of balance?
Well, all I'll say is there's, I think there is a fine line between being the voice for the players at different times to try to be the voice so that they don't have to be, they can focus on playing. But really all I'll say is my job as a coach is to really make sure I'm focused on the next moment and what comes next. And I don't feel like I lost control or anything like that the other night, but I'm not focused on the right thing. That's not my job is to be focused on the right thing. Players' jobs to be focused on the right thing. So I'll be better in that area. It's a chance for me to reflect and grow from it. And that's really, all I'll say from it. I think we can move on.
You split up Riley and Brody late in that game the other night. What was the thought process going back to them tonight, and how can they get back to kind of what they were?
Yeah, you talk through all the different options that we have, which we got 6 lefties again here tonight. We're in a jam right now, right? With Lilligren being out and put Timmins in that, being out as a right shot. That sort of just having those righties kind of lets things sort of fall into place. Now, when you have the lefties, it jams things up. Then you look at Brody's situation. To me, he played better on the left side of late. But we're in a jam right now. So we talk through all the different options, and ultimately, when you're in a jam like this, you just have to fall on what has worked for you over time. Maybe it's not going the best right now, but it's worked well for us. Benoit McCabe, we know, is has worked really well for us. So splitting that up, we don't know if that really helps our cause. Brody's been better on the left, but he's played more on the right than anybody on our team. So when we have no righties in a jam like this, we got to trust and give these guys a chance to get back out and play. That's really it. You'll monitor it as you go, but to help ourselves through this, the guys just they got to just clear their head and get out and play and trust themselves. Leguson's done a good job on the right side for us. The Cave's done a good job on the right side for us, and Brody's probably done a better job on his offside than anybody in the entire league over the course of his career. So at a time when we're in a jam, I think it's important that we just trust the guys to get out and get us through this. And at the same time, as always, just like injuries and all the things, when we have players out of our lineup, the forwards have to really help. And we just got to get connected. So we've done a good job of it. As I said, we've had 2 pairs of all lefties for quite some time here now, and we've managed that just fine. So let's not make a bigger deal of it than we need to.
Tell us about
Giving all that, though, Sheldon, how much do you, with March 8th around the corner of the trade deadline, are those conversations between you and Brad more involved now with the way the defense group looks? Or?
Well, Tree and I, we talk every single day, but we've had those conversations all throughout the season. So we're on the same page there, and I think obviously as the deadline is coming, those discussions are ramping up both internally and with him on the phones and such. He's doing all that he can to try to help our team, and at the same time recognizing that the team's played really well and done a good job. And we've seen different people step up at different times, and we need to continue to do that. And certainly as a coach, my job is to maximize the group that we have, and we've got more than enough to be able to find ourselves through these different situations. Liljegren is he's still day-to-day is what I would call it. We thought there was a chance that he'd come in today and be feeling good. He's just not there. He's just not where that he wants to be or where he needs to be, so he'll continue to be unavailable for now.